McQueen for all publicity things, but Saba is my married name now. You know, when I was preparing for tonight, I was just really, really thinking in the maternal health world, when your child turns 5, it's such a big deal, you know, because in the world, getting a child to their 5th birthday is a big deal for so many different reasons, be it birth trauma, malnutrition, illnesses, all sorts of things. So my oldest daughter, she turned 5 April 19th. The few days leading up to it were very emotional for me. I kept thinking to myself, I cannot believe that this fall I'm going to have a kindergartner. I thought about how far we had come, how really I realized the closer we got to her birthday, she had been my partner in crime for 5 years. She was the reason that I was still there, that I was still putting in the time every day, working hard, still, you know, trying to connect to other women, talking about my story, really letting people know, you know, like, it's important to share our stories, it's important to connect to each other. She had hit a huge milestone, and so had I. 5 years. I thought, wow, I cannot believe I did it. Another thing that happened the week that she started kindergarten, which has only been 3 weeks, so I'm going to try not to cry because I'm still, you know, it's my first child going to kindergarten, the whole thing. She wears a little uniform, you know, and all this stuff. So it was just a few weeks ago, it was so funny. She asked me, she said, Mom, does giving birth hurt? Why is she asking me this? You know, now we've just gotten to a point where I've told her to call her cuckoo a vagina finally, okay? Because for the last 4 years I've been going, you're cuckoo, you know, because I'm like, I don't want to teach her the word vagina. Meanwhile, on the internet, I'm telling everyone about my vagina. But with my daughter, I'm going, cuckoo. But now, you know, I've changed it, so now I'm like, say vagina, I want you to be. Say it the right way. So when she said, Mom, does giving birth hurt? In my head, I thought, well, she's only 5, how am I going to answer this question? But I do want to tell her the truth. So I'm just going to tell her the truth. I said, yes, Gigi, it does. Yeah, giving birth, it hurts. I said, you know how you've fallen off your scooter, you've gotten paper cuts, you know, different things, you know, you've touched something hot. It hurts, but doesn't it always go away? And she said, yeah, Mom. But then she said, I don't want to have a baby. I don't think it goes away. It's so interesting. She said, I don't think it goes away. And in my mind, for me, the trauma that happened with her birth, it never went away, but it diminished from something so grand to right now just something like this. That's constant. It's there every day, little bit still. But when I think back to 5 years ago, it was so big. I could never imagine how I was going to see my way out of what happened. So I had a perfect pregnancy. Textbook, you know, ate all the right things, and by right things I mean going to McDonald's for hash browns every morning, eating a turkey club for lunch, and, you know, making it all better by having a smoothie and kale soup for dinner. I was very active still with work, doing, seeing my friends, really enjoying being pregnant. It was my first baby. Going to Barnes & Nobles, or coming home with stacks of magazines, this big, going on Amazon, ordering what to expect when you're expecting, what to eat when you're expecting, Mayo Clinic, like all of it. I had a huge library of books. Every night, we just flip through the pages over and over again. And I'd go on our little registry and, I'd pick out all the little things I wanted. I'm debating up a baby or bugaboo. We've all done that, right? Or you've had patients who've all done that, right? So we get towards the end, about 38 and a half weeks pregnant. And I went to the bathroom, and Bobby, you remember? And I came out and I said, oh, this is it. I felt a trickle of water come down. This is it. That moment, your mind just starts rushing. But we were prepared, so we thought. She was our first baby. We had, the suitcase was ready to go from 35 weeks on. I had coconut water, ginger ale, my mints, the big, squatting the birth ball. We had tennis balls in there, socks, just things that I would never need. I don't think I used one thing. I think we used the big ball, maybe. hospital, actually, I remember on the way there, before we left the house, we ate these chicken salad sandwiches. Little did I know that that would be the last thing I was going to eat for 2 days. Yeah. So, get to the hospital, and my regular doctor had just left. And so the attending physician on staff took care of me, and she confirmed that my water had indeed broken, and so they wanted to keep me there. I was only 1 centimeter dilated. It was going to be a long, long labor. So throughout the night, throughout that day, I checked in. It was probably like around 1 o'clock in the afternoon at this point, and time's just dragging, you know, and it's all new. Getting hooked up to all these machines, everything's new. And you know, you hear the heartbeat of your baby, boom, 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 boom. And I was just so conscious. I just kept wanting to hear it. Make sure that heart's still beating. Okay, I hear it. Boom, 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 boom. It's always there. Okay, I'm okay. We're gonna be okay. Later on that night, still no movement. 1 centimeter dilated. Fluids lowering. Still 1 centimeter dilated. What's going on? Okay. You give me something to start getting things moving along. Nothing happens. We're going on hour 17 by this point, you know. Still nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I'm up all night. We do the walk that everyone's done on TV in the hospital, and I was just excited that I got to do it. You know, I was like, oh wow, we're gonna walk around with the IV. You know, so we were walking around the hospital, you know, and then trying to get things moving. No movement, nothing. Still 1 centimeter dilated. So that was April 18th of 2010. April 19th comes, a new day. Still nothing. I wake up in the morning, next day, nothing. Still 1 centimeter dilated. So probably around 10 or 11, I'm giving Pitocin. Try to get things really going now, okay? Because she's just been in there too long at this point with, you know, no dilation, no nothing. So they give me the Pitocin, and still movement, very slow. Still, dilation is still very, very slow. Takes about 3 hours or so, and I'm finally at 4 centimeters. I'm so happy that something has happened at this point, you know. She's like a rotisserie chicken in there, just cooking and cooking, and I'm gonna check out of the hotel, you know, and then, you know, you start to get nervous. You know, I started to get nervous, like this isn't really what I've read about. I thought when I come in, okay, maybe a long labor, you know, I had no idea what really constituted a normal labor. Actually, there's no such thing as a normal labor, but as a patient, you know, I just had no idea of how long the process could be. Was it supposed to be 8 hours? Is that okay? Or is this thing going now into the 25th hour? Is this normal? Is this okay? Am I going to be okay? So all those things were running through my mind. The anesthesiologist came in, and he said, he was Greek, he had a big accent too, and he said, oh, do you want me to give you epidural now? And I was having really bad contractions. But I said, I just want to wait a little bit. Not yet, I want to wait. He said, okay, a lot of surgery, so I don't give it to you now. I'm not going to be able to come back for a while. And I said, no, I'll be okay, I want to wait. I didn't want to take it too early, I was nervous, I didn't want to, wear it off and all these stories that I had heard about. So, not as soon as he left, did a contraction hit me so hard that I felt like I was going to just pick the bed up and throw it out the window. And Bob remembers, he was facing me. And I was like, call that man! Call that man! Call him! I'm pressing the nurse's button, please come back, help me! And they got him to come back, and I sat there, and it's funny, just everything in childbirth is so risky, God forbid he put the needle in the wrong place, so now that's going through my mind. Am I going to be paralyzed now to get the epidural, Everything worked out fine, of course, but still nerve-wracking, all these things that keep happening. So you have to understand, as a patient, from the time I checked in, even just up until now, we still haven't gotten to the birth yet, but as a patient, the visuals and the sounds that I was absorbing are very powerful, and they're beginning to stick with me at this point. And so I've checked in. My doctor wasn't there. That was traumatic for me. The person who I'm used to seeing, what, he's not going to come back? It's just, okay. So now I have to trust someone I've never seen. Okay. All right, I can handle it. Okay. Now the baby's taking so long? My amniotic fluid is getting low. You know, I was processing this, but I didn't say anything to anyone. But my emotions were heavy, and I was just trying to focus on completing this mission, completing this task. And so finally, you know, my doctor came, and he's wonderful. I love him very much, and if you read my blog, you'll understand we have a really cool relationship, and he's great. When he came, you know, and he's checking on me, and everything looks normal and fine. It was almost go time. You know, he said, wow, you know, you're there, you're 10 centimeters. I said, okay, finally. So at this point, it had been 27, almost 28 hours, and I was fully ready to go finally. I was so happy. So again, I had a normal pregnancy, no pre-existing conditions whatsoever, no blood disorders, no nothing. So it's go time. When you have an epidural, obviously you can't feel anything. I always call when people say, did you have a natural birth? I go, naturally enhanced. That's what I like to call it. So, you know, on the monitor you can see when the contractions are coming. And so I remember telling him, I'll just tell you when I'm ready. Don't pay attention to the computer. I'm good at this. Just let me do it. I'll do it myself, you know. And he said, no, I'm going to tell you when, you know. So he's like, okay, push now. So I maybe pushed for 10 to 15 minutes. And she came out, and I'll never forget when she came out. She just, the two fists were like in the air. You know? She's like, yeah! You know, just a fighter. Boom, boom, ready, you know. And she was beautiful. And immediately they put her right here on my body. And the vernix, you know, the white coating that's on the baby's skin when they come out, got all over me. Little did I know how important that would be. Kind of grossed out then. But happy and grossed out. Thrilled and grossed out at the same time. But little did I realize then how important it would be for that vernix to be there later on. So that day, we had the TV on in the room. We were watching Seinfeld like all day. So the TV monitor, it was off at this point, but I could see the reflection of everything going on the whole time. I was staring, no one knew, but I was staring in the TV monitor the whole birth. I saw every single thing that was done to me, every tool that was used, just even people's eyes crossing, looking at each other. You know, I was a professional makeup artist for 15 years, so watching human interaction is really important. Paying attention to body language, the things that aren't said, that's what I'm paying attention to. And so I'm catching people looking at each other and giving like weird little side eyes and, you know, making little gestures and stuff. So my daughter laid on me for maybe about a minute, maybe two at best, probably not even that long. I put her in the bassinet next to me, you know, to clean her off. She still got her guns, you know, her arms up, screaming. And in the reflection of the TV, I can see blood just shooting from my vagina. Now, at this point, this was my first child. Seemed normal to me. Hey, birth is bloody, right? That's what I was thinking. Birth is bloody. Okay? No one told me anything differently. I just figured, okay, this must be a part of the process, and I'll get stitched up and be on my way. I'm staring at the TV reflection, and I just see my doctor's hands. I see the blood coming out. And all of a sudden, his hand goes way into my body. Just in and out. Over and over again. So then he asked the nurses to take the baby and Bobby out of the room. So this is not even 5 minutes after I give birth. After a 27-hour labor, I now have to say goodbye to Bob, and I have to say goodbye to Gigi, my daughter. And for the next 45 minutes, I had to endure uterine massage because my uterus wouldn't contract, and that's why I was hemorrhaging. And so for 45 minutes, it was in, up to about here with the arm, and back out. And it was in, and it was out. And the pain of it, you know, just, it was, you know, it had to be done but it was so violating. You know, for almost 2 days I sat in the hospital with my legs spread open for the world to see. And now, after finally getting my prize, she was gone. This was my reward. 45 minutes of a massage in and out of my body, like he was grabbing from my guts. So it wasn't working. I kept staring at the visual, the monitor, the screen. I could see the blood coming. I could see his hand still there on the screen. And I said, "What's going on? Talk to me." He said, "Your uterus won't contract. I'm trying to massage it to get it to contract to stop bleeding. You're having a postpartum hemorrhage." I had no idea what that even meant. I mean, just besides literally what it means, but I just was like, okay, fix it, okay, you know. He said, "I'm going to have to call a specialist." At this point, I hear a beep. Beep, beep. And I look over and it's the blood pressure machine to my left. My blood pressure's been the same my whole life. And when I looked and saw the top number was in double digits, I knew I was in big trouble. Beep. Next thing you know, I vomited on myself. Now, I'm a makeup girl. I came into that birth April 18th with a full face of makeup on. Fake lashes and everything, okay? A blowout. And I'll never forget just when I threw up on myself and the vomit just was here, you know. So again, I'm taking all these things in, all the visual things, the physical things. Now I have feelings around it, you know. So now again, my memory now of things that were traumatic versus things that were good is being far outnumbered by things that were traumatic if we were to take a tally, you know, at that point. So it's just me and my doctor alone in the room. He said, "I have to call a specialist. He's going to come in and he's going to tell you some really scary things, but just know that we're going to get through this and you're going to be okay." And I said, "Ari, I need to know the truth. Am I going to be okay? Don't just tell me, you know, the bullshit answer that you just have to give, you know, to everybody. I really need to know because there's things I need to do. There's conversations I need to have quickly. There's things I need to say." And he said, "You're going to be okay." I felt so weak. Every time I wanted to close my eyes so badly. They were so heavy. I was just, you know, my eyelids felt like they weighed 100 pounds each. And I knew though, if I closed them, I had this weird feeling that they weren't going to open back up. And so there was like a voice saying, "Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Stay focused. Keep your eyes open. Do not close your eyes. Do not." I wanted to close them because the visuals were just so powerful. Very difficult to see all of these things happening to my body, and I had no control over any of it. Everything was happening to me, and I just had to sit there and take it. You know, very, very tough position to be in, especially because I'm an only child. But I like to be in control. Bobby will tell you about that later. So the specialist does come in, and thank goodness we found him, Dr. Richmond. He just happened to be coming across the GW bridge, just 10 minutes away. And he came in, he had a big, you know, New York, Bronx kind of accent or whatever. And he came in and he said, "You know what, kid? I don't know if you're going to make it. I just have to tell you the truth." Now I'm sitting there. I have vomit on my side of my face. I'm still bleeding. I've now at this point had 2 blood transfusions because I lost so much blood. My blood pressure is dropped very low, and he just comes in with it. "I don't know if you're going to live or die," he says to me. "I don't know." And then he asked me a question. He said, "Do you want to have more children?" It's a weird question I thought to be asked. I said, "I don't really care right now. I just care about the daughter I just gave birth to." He said, "I need you to answer the question. because I have to do a surgery called an embolization. I'm going to try to repair your uterus, uterus and your ovaries. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to give you a hysterectomy. And so I need to make you aware of that. And he said, but I also need to tell you one more thing. If none of that works, you will die tonight. So those were my options. So. And me being me, I said, well, let's go with A and B and then see where we are. And so then they brought Bob back in to the room, because it was just us three at that point, me, my regular OB, and then Dr. Richmond, the specialist. And then they brought Bob back in, and then we explained to him what had to happen. And so when Bobby talks about it, you know, he says it was the best day of his life and the worst day of his life. And I always think about that. The most amazing thing on earth happens to you, and then the worst thing happens to you all at the same time in an instant. And so, in terms of trauma, you have to also look at it from a spouse's perspective. Now they've seen all these things happen to a person and they had no control. And so, at that moment, there was already a wall between us, because now I was going through it and he was not. And in my mind now, I just put the wall up right then and there. You did not bleed. You did not have someone's hand in your body. Your blood pressure didn't drop. You don't know what it's like to have someone come and tell you you might die. So now I cannot, now we're no longer united. Now I'm here and you're here, okay? I have to get through this, not you, because you're not going through it. Yeah, tough. I didn't say that to him, but that's what I was thinking. That's really what I was thinking. So Bobby stayed, he couldn't come to the surgery. That was another thing. He couldn't come down for the surgery. He had to stay in the nursery with Gigi. And I went off to the surgery. He saw me down to the operating room. And after that, I got another blood transfusion, being wheeled in, completely naked at this point. Completely naked. And my two wonderful nurses who had been with me were working overtime because they didn't want to leave my side. The board of directors for the hospital, it was like a scene out of Grey's Anatomy, you know, with the wall and the suits and everybody watching, because they're probably thinking, Austin, you know, what's going on? This person dies. And meanwhile, I was thinking that I just wanted to make it through the night. So at this point, it's given Demerol because of the pain. On my third blood transfusion at this point. And I'm on the operating table, and again, I had to be awake for the surgery because I had to tell the surgeon if I felt anything. And so there's a big monitor. So again, the visual. The big monitor above me, and I can see every stitch, everything going on. And so he would do something, say, oh, you know, and I'm looking up like this. He'd say, do you feel this? And I would say no. And then he'd say, do you feel this? And I would say no. And I was afraid to feel. I said, I don't want to feel anything because I know that's bad. Because every time I say I don't feel anything, that's good. I said, please, I don't want to feel anything, because I knew that could be the end of my life. So I was praying to God for me not to feel anything. And I was standing there and I was telling the nurses some funny stories and stuff, just trying to stay engaged in other things. But the cold on my body, you know, I was naked, and I just happened to glance over. There's the Bernice. She's still with me. She's still with me, I thought. She's right here. She's with me. My daughter is still with me. I have a reason to fight. I'm going to make it through this. And I looked down, I tilted my head, and just did like this to the Bernice that was on me. And the white came off on my face. And I just stared at my arm and my hand for a lot more of the surgery unless he was asking me to pay attention. And so 3.5 hours later, I was in critical condition. And was very touch and go. They wanted me to go to intensive care. My personal OB said she needs to be with her child. I want her to go back to labor and delivery. She just gave birth. She needs to be with her baby. And so we had this funny, little exchange, and he leaned down, he whispered in my ear, he said, "They want you to go to intensive care. So when they come and ask you how you're feeling, you need to wave like you just won Miss America." Okay? And I was like, okay. And so sure enough, the people come around and they're like, "Do you feel as though you can go back to labor and delivery?" And I said, "Yeah." And I had no voice because of all, and I was shocked because my voice was so hoarse. Yeah. And I was like, I can go back. And just as we were about to go in the elevator, someone was like running down the hall saying no. And we get in with the big bed, me and my doctor and one nurse, and the doors are shut in this other person's face and nose. We're like, okay, we made it. And we go back upstairs to labor and delivery. My best friend, who I grew up with from the time we were 14 years old, she's there. I said, "How'd you get in?" She said, "Oh, I told them I was your sister. My best friend is 5'2" white girl with porcelain skin and brown hair." I said, "Well, we live in a PC world, so there you go. God forbid they say, oh, we need some identification or something like this, be in trouble." So she said, "You know what they said?" I said, "What?" She said, "I overheard the nurses." Now, this is in front of my family. So my best friend's there, I think Bobby's sister and brother-in-law were there, and Bob. And she said, they said that they didn't know if you were going to live. They didn't think we were going to live through the night. And I said to them, "You don't know my best friend. She's not going to die." And I said, "They said that in front of you? Like, you just overheard them talking? Like, She said, "Yeah." She said, "They said that, oh, this one probably won't make it." And I said, just again, so I'm taking all of this in. So that night was, it was a tough night. They put an intensive care unit nurse in the room with me. And she said to me, "You cannot move any part of your body. The surgery you just had is very serious. You could die if you wiggle your toes. I mean, do not move anything." So, and I couldn't drink anything. So now we're on day 2, nothing to eat, nothing to drink. Just maybe some ice chips here and there, a tiny bit of water. So the nurse goes to the bathroom, and my best friend is there. And she said, "You look really thirsty." I said, "I am. I'm very thirsty." She said, "You want a Coca-Cola?" I said, "Yeah." The nurse said, "I can't have one." She said, "You can have one." And I'm over the edge of the bed. Yeah. Nurse comes back in. "Hey, is everything, how you guys were okay all the time?" Yeah. 2 seconds later, throw up Coca-Cola all over the bed. So she said, "Didn't I tell you that?" So I was reunited with Gigi for a brief time too, which was great. And again, they put her right next to me here, and then they put her in a bassinet. And so I was able to look at her all night. And I said to her, "I'm not going to leave you a motherless child. I promise you." It's hard to now know or think that I was making a promise I wasn't sure I could keep. I was just going to do everything I could to try to keep it. That's the best I could do. So the next day after the surgery, a nurse came in and said, "Can you feel your legs?" Whoops. And I said, she said, wiggle your toes for me." And so I sat down, or I was in bed anyway. And in my mind, they were doing like this, but they weren't moving at all. Nothing was happening. So in my brain, this was happening, but they were like this. So she said, "It's okay, it's probably just the medication." So again, now I have another concern. So over these 2 days, I had taken in all these sights, all these sounds, all these visuals, all these physical things happening to me, all these things I had to be aware of. They were all on me, the patient, all on me. After I just gave birth, 27-hour labor, I still had to be aware of so many things. I still had to be the one to make